consistently been running the high line in 1 and 2. Definitely starting to catch up to Kemi. Here goes the move now to turn 3. Will Horton hold on to it? Gets the move. Coming off of turn 4. Pretty sure it was the 18 of Brian Beach. It was. He gets very loose coming off the corner down into the 19. Of 48 of Brian Kemi with nowhere to go here. One car, Brandon Bennett. He gets 81 gets clear. To go down to the bottom lane to make it a 3 versus 2 on the bottom, and the outside line has just lost all of its momentum. Everyone going down to the bottom lane now. They'll be getting ready to reset for the next couple of laps, as we're going to have 3 laps left to run when Sanchez Hello everyone and welcome to the Iowa Speedway for the Cyhawk 105 here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel for the Output Racing League. And I'm very excited to be here. I hope you are all very excited to be here as well, as we tackle a track that is just for the first time ever coming to us in the big leagues, in the Cup Series. But we're going to tackle it here tonight in iRacing for the B cars, track that B cars are very familiar with. In real life, it just got a repave on the low lines, which I think could be very interesting. But we'll have to wait and see how it's going to go. Currently got a few cars out there right now. We've got the 25 cars altogether, and currently 2 of them have not set practice times just yet. But Scott Rickard leading the way with a 24.681. And there's Thomas Harmon, Thad Faylor, TJ Crampton. We've got Reggie Ortega, we've got Horton, Pizzicami, Hernandez, Niederhelm, and the Cookie Monster himself, Corey Cook, in P10 there. Go over to the next page. There's Massier, Shoemaker, Perkins, Weekly, Kraus, McCoy, Matthews, Campbell, Pentacuff, and Chambliss. We move on to Marquez, Isaacson, Watson, Sanchez, and Collins. And, of course, as I said, Sanchez and Collins still yet to set a lap, as everyone getting ready for a pit party here. Everyone's starting to roll out onto the track. They should be doing 2 pace laps. Since it is a short track and it takes a little bit for people to get lined up properly, because, you know, no one wants to start at the front and everyone wants to start at the front. So there's still people just coming out of the pits when, you know, the front of the group is already in the restart zone. See, Scott Rickard is in the first half dozen or so. Caleb Weekly in the 10 car. He looks like Neapolitan ice cream. It looks like we're going to have Shoemaker on the pole for this thing. On his outside is Kyle McCoy. Then it's Weekly. Then Scott Rickard there in 4th. And that 2 there, that is actually the 22 of Reggie Ortega. So for today, he's going to be the 222. And his outside, the 21 of Thad Faylor. But here we go for the pit party now, as everyone is ready to rip. They get into the restart zone and they're going. Looks like a bad start there from the front row. Got Sam Niederhelm in the back there, experimenting with some alternate dimensions. Oh, Crampton also experimenting with alternate dimensions, as him and Hernandez try to get up on the inside of everyone. A few people on the fence around. There's Thad Faylor, and Pentacuff nowhere to go, straight into him. Bumpers go everywhere. Now the 2-2s are next to each other, and that could be getting very confusing very quick. Is at the back, big drama. That's the 20. The 24's in there. Oh, look at this off turn 4. Oh no. Oh, the drama. Oh, the agony. That took just about the entire field out. Wow. That was nuts. I think Scott Rickard is the lone survivor of the front of the group. Andrew Griesbaum just loads into the session. So now we've got 26 cars in this race. There's Jaron Sanchez, league founder, and taking a backseat role so he can focus more on just the racing aspect of things. And looks like he's only a second and a half off the pace at the moment. See what he gets when he puts in a real lap time. I think I put in a 25-second lap, which puts me just 4/10 off. So I'd be right around the mid-pack in 16th or 17th kind of area. Sanchez brings it down to 6.5 now that he's off the pace. Still waiting for Austin Collins and Andrew Griesbaum to set laps. We're looking at Andrew Griesbaum right now, actually the 68 car. And let's see what time he can do, as that was our top time setter so far, Scott Rickard, against the inside wall. Coy's just jumped up to P6. Chavlis has jumped up to 17th. Times are starting to come in thick and fast now. Griesbaum only jumps up to 24, so only just jumps in front of Sanchez. We'll probably see him improve as practice goes on. And apparently we're still focusing on him, even though I said to iRacing to focus on crashes. Sliding in behind him, that's the 7 of Kyle Kraus. The Shoemaker on the outside, there's Jonas Marquez ahead. Shoemaker with an outrageous run there on the outside line. That was super huge, that was almost criminal. Lost it all in 1 and 2, then got super loose coming out of 2. Managing to hold on to it though. And that sounded like a big downshift. Oh, Shoemaker into the fence. He was a little bit loose, got finished off by Griesbaum. I was just about to say, I heard the 7, Kyle Kraus, aggressively downshifting. I'm not sure what the plan was there for that. There's that Failer in the 21. Oh, it was in the background. The 13, Travis Massey went around. That was coming out of turn 2. Everyone managing to avoid him. Kami's jumped up to P7. Sanchez and Griesbaum have moved up to 23rd and 24th. Joe Slimer's joining the session. 27 cars now to sit on the grid, as time is ticking away. There's Sanchez and Hernandez. Back to Thad Failor. Just behind Thad is the 13 Amasia. Hernandez all over the bumper of Sanchez. Sanchez is a little bit loose there in the middle line. It seems the 2 fast lines around here as Thomas Harmon making a mistake. You don't normally see that. It seems the 2 fast lines are either around the very inside or around the top. The middle is just kind of trash. So we'll have to wait and see how these drivers are going to handle it. Especially when it comes to the actual race scenario. There's that failure. He now has Brian Pizzicami behind as Travis Massey has gotten in front. It looks like that. Oh, around goes Matt Horton in the 88 car. Horton has been on a little bit of the struggle bus this season. Haven't really been getting the results that we're used to seeing out of him. As Weekly gets to the inside of Ken Campbell. Campbell with the outside momentum there. starting to pull back ahead of Weekly. Behind them, Andrew Perkins in the double O machine. Is he meant to be in the double O machine? No, that's the thing. I don't think he is. We've got two double O's on the track. Now that's definitely going to confuse me. Two twos and two double O's. Around goes Perkins. Managed to keep it off the inside fence though. That's pretty big. Especially going through that grass there. Sometimes that grass is so slippery it would just send you straight into the inside wall with no remorse. We've got about 3.5 minutes left. Don't pay too much attention to the timer there in the top left. There's Thomas Harmon in the 38, still only P2, but still only by 0.052 of a second. So less than half, or just about half a tenth, separating Rickard from Harmon. That Failor in the 21 car is currently sitting P4, just over a tenth off the pace. Fizikami behind him is currently sitting in P8, 1 3/4 tenths off. Not many people have really had a chance to do a proper long run here. The session didn't go up as early as it should have due to an administrative error. I think very shortly here we're going to go to a commercial break. So make sure you guys stay tuned because we'll be going into qualifying, and then after qualifying we're going to see how these guys line up for the Cyhawk 105 here from the Iowa Speedway. I'm just waiting to see time for me click over to the time I need. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Racing action will be coming up very shortly. Welcome back to the Iowa Speedway. Qualifying is just wrapping up. The last couple of cars getting their laps in that are wanting to complete laps anyway. As time has now ticked over to the 5-minute mark. They haven't completed their laps by now. It is far too late because it's time for us to start going through our grid. For the Cyhawk 105 here from the Iowa Speedway. Starting off the pole, be the 38 of Thomas Harmon. On his outside will be the 2 of Jonathan Hernandez. And then we're going to have the 94 Andrew Hennessy out of 3 with Scott Rickard in the 05 out of P number 4. P5 will be the 67 of Brian Chambliss with P6 the 68 of Andrew Griesbaum. P7 will be the 16 of Kyle McCoy with P8 the fake 00 of Andrew Perkins. P9 is going to be the 10 of Caleb Weekey. On his outside, the fake number 2 of Reggie Ortega, the 222 if you will. Then we've got Austin Collins and Joe Slama out of 11th and 12th. The 7th row here, we will see Ken Campbell and Travis Massier. Then all the way back on the 8th row, we have TJ Crampton, Kyle Kraus. Both of them very competitive. It's going to be an exciting 8th row there. Row number 9, there's the Cookie Monster himself, Corey Cook, James Watson, out of 18th. Both of them also a bit fiery. So the mid-pack here looking pretty good. Bryce Schumacher, Frank Isaacson. Row number 10. Row 11, we'll see Dylan Matthews and Mark Pentacuff. Then row number 12, we have Matt Horton and Thad Faylor. Row 13, lucky row 13, there's the league founder Jaron Sanchez and the 66 Sam Niederhelm. Row number 14, we have Jonas Marquez and Brian Pizzakemi. And that is it. We have 28 cars to take on the racing action here tonight. Two pace laps behind the pace car. And it should be a pretty awesome race that we have here tonight as well. As the flag marshal will give our field one more time around the track. This is the second race of the playoffs as well. Got one more race after this before we go to our top 4 for the final round of the season to crown our champion. As everyone's starting to get ready to get going. Pace car will make that hard left turn into the pit lane. And then it will set these 28 cars off on a full throttle thrill show here at the Iowa Speedway. And we're underway. Everyone keeping it fairly calm at the moment, sticking to the 2x2 formation. No one really jutting out, trying to get any kind of an advantage, really. Our front row still side by side as on the outside line. Jonathan Hernandez with the advantage at the moment. But still going to be drag racing through turns 3 and 4. And it looks like Hernandez is going to lead the first lap here over Thomas Harmon. Thomas did have lane choice, and he chose to start on the inside. Oh, and Harmon gets very loose. He's going to lose out on a few positions here. He just went from first all the way down to P6. Lucky it wasn't even further than that. They're 3 wide in front of him. Oh, there's contact with Hennessy. And that's caused a big stack up there. They're 4 wide going into turn 1. I'm glad we stuck with Harmon there. They're still 3 wide in certain places. Got 3 lots of 3 wide there, now 2 lots. And now it's all back down to 2 by 2 as Harmon gets to the outside line. There's Rosie Ortega there in the 222. And Hennessy, who started behind Harmon, is right back there with him. Harmon now looking to try and get some of these positions back, as Jonathan Hernandez has already opened out a 1.1 second lead. And that's over Scott Rickard in the 05 car. Big stack up there on the outside line. And look at Thomas Harmon go. He just gets on the inside, blasts around everyone. As there's another 3 wide there in the back. I can see TJ Crampton's in there. I think the 9 of Joe Slama was the one on the outside. As I have just lost everybody. This is not good. And I think everyone's just come back. Yep. Now we set it to focus on crashes. We're looking at the 5 of Mark Pentecoff. I want to go back up towards the front of the field. Where is Thomas Harmon's button? There it is. And you see behind him, Andrew Hennessy caught in the middle of all the action as he just shut the door on the 9 of Joe Salama. Coming out of turn 2, the 72 TJ Crampton very aggressively to the inside, trying to push Andrew Griesbaum along. It's very tight there in that 3 wide coming out of turn 4. But Hennessy stuck in the middle. That's not where you want to be. As I was saying before, the inside is fast and the outside is fast, but Griesbaum's going to spin. Looks like he saved it. Got on the brakes, didn't hit the fence, and he is going to drop a boatload of positions here. He's all the way down towards the back of the pack. Down in 25th. That one mistake coming out of turn 2, and his race just went from chocolates to boiled lollies. I'm going to set the camera back to focus on crashes, just to see what we can see throughout the racetrack. And again, it puts us on the 5 of Mark Pentecoff. And now we get a view back up towards the front. See Harmon there trying to find Ortega for P6. And most people have gravitated now towards the low line as well. There's a couple more moves being made there between Travis Masio and Corey Cook. They're fighting tooth and nail. And that is over the 12th position. Yeah, this is the second race in the chase of the championship. Next week we're going to New Hampshire, and then the final race will be at Auto Club. The top 10 that we have to keep an eye on: Scott Rickard, Austin Collins, we've got Jonathan Hernandez, Thomas Harmon, Joe Slama, Ken Campbell, Christian Poe, Kyle McCoy, James Watson, and TJ Crampton. But Crampton missed the last race, so he's currently in a big deficit right now. We probably won't see him in the top 4 unless he wins the next 2 races. And even then, it's going to be a hard order. And my software here is telling me Frank Isaacson has had a crash. Let's check this out. Oh, and he did not indeed have a crash. It was just experimenting with some alternate dimensions. It looks like most people have chilled out a little bit here, as all the most people single file. 38 Thomas Harmon continuing to try and fight his way back up towards the front. He gets inside the 222, Reggie Ortega. They're both all over the back bumper here of Caleb Weekly, as a little bit sideways was Harmon. A little bit of door-to-door contact there with Ortega. Behind him, you can see the 15 of Ken Campbell starting to get up on the inside of the 9 of Joe Slama. TJ Crampton trying to buy his way into this battle as well. Crampton sitting back there in the 10th position, both in points and on track. He's looking to the inside of that 15 car. It seems the inside line here has just died out a little bit. It's probably the long run line, but it's just not that much of an advantage. You're probably saving your tyres down there, but if you want to make moves, you've got to do it around the outside. Go back now. We're looking at the 39 of James Watson, the 1 of Austin Collins, then shoot straight back up to where there's no action at all. So we're going to go back to the 1 of Austin Collins here, because behind him is another battle as well. 27 of Kyle Kraus and the 20 of Dylan Matthews. Matthews experimenting with some alternate dimensions there. And our top 4 have actually pulled away from the rest of the field. There's about 8 tenths that separate our top 4. And then it's a good maybe 2.5 back to Caleb Weekly in 5th. As these guys continue to battle on, we're going to check in with our pole sitter once more, who has now finally gotten around Reggie Ortega. Now he's going to try and make the move on the 10 of Caleb Weekly. Both Ortega and Harmon going to the inside line there. Both of them could not get the nose up there. There's a big dive into turn 3 from Thomas Harmon. He pulls side by side with Weekly. Weekly with the outside line will get the momentum off. Harmon just side drafting ever so slightly on the back of the corner. Just slows up the momentum a little bit there for Weekly. Not that you're really going speeds that affect the aero all that much. And the caution is out. And it looks like it might be the Andrew Perkins car. Let's check this out. And he was battling side by side with the 13. Travis Massio just came up, got tight, and looped it right there in front of that other pack that we were watching before. I think Travis Massio, big nose hit into the inside wall. That's going to be the end of his day, no doubt, and possibly the end of Andrew Perkins' day as well, as he pulled the pin and went to the pits. So too did the 13 of Travis Massio. That is going to be our first caution of the night. And it looks like everyone is going to come in for a pit stop. It's going to be a very busy pit lane here. Let's see where everyone's going to go now. This is going to affect things later on. I don't think they can make it to the end on fuel here, but tyres are definitely going to be a big factor in this race. And I'm surprised not a single person stayed out at all. Let's see if we can get a conversation here with Mr. Perkins. Andrew Perkins, Corey up in the booth.
Thing to ever happen.
Do you have a copy?
Say that again.
Said
Yeah, I got a
this.
copy.
Yeah, yeah. What happened there, mate? It looked like you got a little bit tight in the corner up in front of Travis.
Yeah, I got real tight. Just cut right across his nose. I was trying to keep it off him, but I was pushing a little too hard, battling there with him.
How bad is the damage? It looked like you had your hood off when you came to rest, and I reckon his day's probably about done as well.
Yeah, it's killed. It's terminal.
That's unfortunate. But you're just here on a casual schedule. We're going to see you next week.
Maybe.
All right, man.
We'll
Before I let
see.
you go, anyone we'll give a shout out to?
Um, nah, not tonight.
All right, no worries. Thanks for coming out and at least attempting the race, mate. And hopefully we'll
Yes,
see you
sir.
next week.
Yep. Later, Corey.
All right, guys. That was Andrew Perkins, uh, the unfortunate instigator in that incident. I think we still got a little bit of time here. No, we just got one degree, and I was going to grab Travis Massia there for a quick chat as well. But these guys are going to start getting ready to line up to restart. There's going to be Hernandez from Rickard, and Hernandez has chosen the outside line here from the restart. Now the first start was on green, but all the restarts are on the leader inside of the restart zone. It's Hernandez, Rickard, McCoy, well, Hernandez, Rickard, Harmon, McCoy. Then Matthews and Chambliss as our top six. We've got Caleb Weekly, Ken Campbell, Joe Salama, and TJ Crampton up there in the top 10 as well. As the pace car is going to make that hard left turn into pit lane. And we're racing once more. Horrible restart there for the 05 of Scott Rickard. But that caution is exactly what Thomas Harmon needed. He's in the top four. He closed the gap into the leaders. And the 20 is struggling big time. Well, right back through the pack, experimenting with alternate dimensions. And he was up there in the top 10. He's now fallen all the way down to 12th. Possibly 13th now as Kyle Kraus gets to his inside. There's a little bit of looseness there for Kyle Kraus. So I think the 61 of the Cookie Monster got into the fence. A lot of very close quarters racing. A lot closer than what you would imagine we'd see on a short track like this. And these corners are so wide, they could actually line up 6 wide across the track. Probably 5 wide. I wouldn't trust these guys 6 wide, actually. Chambliss and Crampton are arguing over position as well right now. Trying to look for the right button to press. There it is. Chambliss on the inside of Crampton. They're battling over P6. It's Hernandez, Rickard, McCoy, and Harmon right now as your top 4. Campbell makes up the 5th position. And most things seem pretty calm at the moment. Although Rickard definitely looking for a way around Jonathan Hernandez. He used the momentum on the outside. He's going to dive it in deep up here on the inside. And will he make the move stick? That is going to be the ultimate question. Hernandez holding on strong there on the outside line through 1 and 2. What can he do here in 3 and 4? I reckon Hernandez might have it here as Rickard has a little bit of a wobble. Got a little bit loose there on the exit. Hernandez continuing to just lead laps. And Rickard with a big slide out of turn 2. That is all Hernandez needed, and that was all McCoy needed as well to get up there into P2. But McCoy got a little bit balked by the 2 of Hernandez. Now he's looking to try and make a move on Hernandez himself. Let's see what he can do as Scott Rickard now drops into line behind McCoy. Behind Thomas Harmon, the battle is on between Crampton and Campbell. And here goes McCoy now to the inside of Hernandez in turn 3. McCoy just gets his nose ahead, but Hernandez with the momentum on the outside. He'll continue to lead the laps. McCoy diving it in deep once more. It's a ripper battle for the lead here. It looks like Hernandez just holding on to the advantage. He's really pinching down low as we have another incident. This time it's Andrew Hennessy. Whoa. Let's back this up even more. Coming out of turn 2. Contact between himself and Weekly. And it sent him into a big slide here coming out of turn 2. Makes him go drifty into turn 3. Oh, that was close there for Kraus. Everyone managing to dodge around the outside. Yep. Oh no, Frank. Mark. Oh, Mark, the unfortunate one who got him. Everyone else managing to avoid damage by the looks of things. Oh, that is quite unfortunate there, though. But both cars are still mobile. Let's check out the 5 of Penscarf. Yeah, he's still mobile. So hopefully the damage on both those cars is not too bad. But with that, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll have more racing action coming for you very shortly. Welcome back to the Cyhawk 105 here from the Iowa Speedway. And the top half of the field mostly didn't pit. We just got a couple of takers coming in now. Harmon, Crampton, and Baylor. All just coming into the pits right now. As I think we just got the 2 to green. So interesting strategies at play here. On lap 37 or 120. And they might be able to make it to the end from there. I was going to look at trying to get an interview with Andrew Hennessy. Unfortunately, he is not in the Discord. Or not in the VC anyway, so I can't just drag him in out of nowhere. But Pentacup and Hennessy both continuing to get damage repaired on their cars. Jonathan Hernandez will still be leading the way here, and it looks like he's going to choose the outside lane once more. Kyle McCoy in P2. There's going to be Scott Rickard, Ken Campbell, Brian Chambliss. And after that, it's going to be Griesbaum, Ortega, Kraus, Slama, and Cook as your top 10. And now we'll see how 38 of Thomas Harmon is going to go trying to carve his way through the field. I reckon he might have fueled to the end here. This being a short track, it's not unusual to be full on fuel at this moment. The pace car is going to make his way into the pits once more, hopefully for the final time tonight. And we're off and racing. Hernandez choosing to restart very early. Gets a great jump over McCoy and Campbell. Campbell getting a pretty good jump there as well. He's straight to the outside of McCoy. The 15 versus the 16, and those two, a couple that have been battling all season. There is the 67 as well. Brian Chambliss up towards the front of the pack, and Andrew Griesbaum up there in 7th. Great recovery after that earlier half lose and dropped to the very back of the pack. He's back up in the top 10. Start calling him the yo-yo here in a minute. As a couple of people catch the outside fence. McCoy trying to chase down our leader, Jonathan Hernandez, but Hernandez putting down some pretty solid laps right now as we're just about 3 wide behind this group. The 67 is right in the middle of it all. There's Brian Chambliss as he's trying to hold off both Joe Slama and Andrew Griesbaum as Corey Cook sends it just about 3 wide on them. But that outside line is definitely a great lane for the restarts. And I see Brian Pizzakemi up towards these guys as well. So he's been putting in some hard yards and some great pitting efforts. As the 9 of Joe Slama gets around Brian Chambliss on the inside line. This is where the inside line is going to start having the advantage again. Also, fresh tyres on some of these cars. I do believe Corey Cook is one of those with the fresh tyres. Just the way that he's carving through the upper echelons of the field here suggests to me that he might be on the fresher tyres. As they're 3 wide behind these guys, and I saw someone on the outside clouting the fence. The battle is on once more between the 05 of Scott Rickard and the 15 of Ken Campbell. Some people say I need to breathe a little bit more while I'm commentating because I talk so much, I use so many words without taking a breath, but that's all a part of commentating. As the 9 of Joe Slama trying to buy into this battle as well. Look at him on the outside line, getting around Scott Rickard. Absolutely clears him, and now he's going to make the big dive up the inside of Ken Campbell, who only just recently took over the 3rd position. Now what can Joe Slama do? Couldn't quite get him cleared. Multiple people hitting that outside fence of turn 2 once more. And Slama on the inside gets around Ken Campbell. He'll take over the 3rd position. And Kyle McCoy has caught up to Jonathan Hernandez. He just can't quite get the run going on him though by the looks of things. Go back in the pack here a little bit. The 7 of Kyle Kraus trying to fight his way through the field. Got a few people trying to fight their way through the field. 3 wide behind these guys. There's Crampton, Watson and Pizzakemi 3 wide as they came out of turn 4. And I think Crampton has the fresher tyres out of the 3. Austin Collins up there as well in the 1. I'm pretty sure he's on fresh tyres as well. If we get a decent run here, it looks like fresh tyres was the correct call. It's 3 wide again. Goes Crampton on the inside of Collins. And I think that is Shoemaker as well on the outside. A very spirited little battle between the 3 as they continue to go 3 wide. They've been 3 wide now for an entire lap. And they turned that briefly into 4 wide. Back down to 2 by 2 as Shoemaker got shoved into the fence. So TJ Crampton experimenting with some alternate dimensions, which means we're going to have to pick someone else to follow here. And that someone else is going to be the 61 of the Cookie Monster himself, Corey Cook. as he's trying to make his way into fourth on the inside of Ken Campbell. I'm pretty sure Corey Cook is the first on fresh tyres, and we have a battle for the lead. That's the wrong button. That's the right one. As Kyle McCoy has the lead over Jonathan Hernandez. He was the first across the line that time. Hernandez diving it up the inside, trying to push McCoy out wide. Make sure to not push him into the fence, though. That's very important. That's very respectful driving right there from Jonathan Hernandez. Hernandez gets McCoy cleared there for a brief moment. McCoy went all the way out to the fence, diamond down off of turn 4, and he'll continue to lead this race. The muchness respect shown between these two. Very aggressive driving though, as McCoy continuing to take the advantage on the outside. But he knows if he stays up there too long, it's going to end up hurting him more than it's going to help. We're getting closer and closer to the halfway mark in this race. And now Joe Slama trying to take on Hernandez for P2. They're 3 wide behind these guys again. The 7 of Kyle Kraus, the 72 of TJ Crampton, and they had the 5, the 05 that is, of Scott Rickard. And now they're trying to go 3 wide with Ken Campbell. And they have gone 3 wide successfully with Ken Campbell, although it's back down to 2 as Crampton got clear of Kraus. There's a lot of C words in that sentence. And now Crampton gets clear of Campbell as well, as Kraus continuing to try and fight for a competitive position. But Scott Rickard also getting his way into this battle. Corey Cook in front of these guys is all over the back of Joe Slama now, our 3rd place sitter. And look at him go, he dives in, you can just see visibly how much more pace he has compared to these 3 in front of him. He's been putting in nothing but solid laps the entire time. As Jaron Sanchez is in the pits. Let's hope that it's not terminal for the league founder, Jaron Sanchez. Slama taking away the best racing lines here, leaving Corey Cook nowhere to go. But Cook unable to advance his position just yet. As it says, Austin Collins is out. I hope that's not the case, as the caution is out. I'm not sure what's happened. It might be Jonas Marquez here. Marquez had a spin. I don't think it was Marquez because he's on the apron here. Was it maybe the 10 of Weekly? Let's back this up here because it didn't show. Oh, it was the 10 of Weekly. And he wasn't the starter of that. Let's go up here to the 20 car. Battling side by side with Pizzakemi and almost Shoemaker there. And going into turn 1, looks like he's just bounced off the fence. And he gets into the back, big time into the back of Shoemaker, sends Shoemaker around. And these guys have their own little incident, unfortunately. The 10 of Weekly, nowhere to go. Just gets clipped by the 20 car of Matthews. Weekly spins up the track and looks like he's going to cop another one from Shoemaker as well. And he just decides to sit there as he sees a whole bunch of traffic coming his way. So that is our 3rd caution of the night so far. As it looks like Kyle Kraus and James Watson not pitting under this caution. But let's see if we can get someone in here for the interview. Weekly is not in the VC. Shoemaker's not in the VC. And The 20 car, I don't think is in the VC either. He wasn't here earlier, Mr. Matthews. But he's not in here now. I think he didn't want to get dragged in. Kyle Kraus now going to lead the way from James Watson. And we have Kyle McCoy, Jonathan Hernandez, Thomas Harmon, Joe Slammer, TJ Crampton, Scott Rickard, Corey Cook, and Ken Campbell as your top 10. I'm not sure why it didn't show us that incident. It looked like pretty substantial contact there for it to not show on my a little overlay here that shows me when incidents happen. And it looks like Austin Collins is indeed out of this race. Not sure what happened to Austin. Perkins is also officially out. Macia still in the pits. Sanchez in the pits. Collins is back. Weekly and Shoemaker in the pits. They've gone laps down. Got Pentacuff, Matthews, and Harmon all taking extra pit stops here. It looks like Kraus going to choose the outside line, as we are now officially at the halfway point. That's 60 laps down, 60 laps to go. And we're going to get the restart here with 59 left. So these guys are going to start pulling their socks up and getting some green flag laps in. But here we go for the third time. Well, I guess this is the fourth time now that we've had a start. The pace car is going to make that hard left turn into pit lane. Everyone who pitted now should be able to make it absolutely easy peasy. And we're off and racing. And Kyle Kraus, this is the first time he's led laps in this race today. Austin Collins is 4 laps down. That puts Shoemaker 4 laps down. Weekly is officially out. Sanchez officially out. Perkins officially out of this race. And look at these guys on fresh tyres. The two of Jonathan Hernandez just absolutely sweeping underneath of the 7 of Kraus and the 39 of James Watson, who's falling back very quickly. I thought they would have realised from the other restarts that fresh tyres would absolutely dominate here, unless they're thinking there's going to be more cautions where people are not going to take the risk to take tyres. But the battle is on for the lead between the 2 and the 72. That's Hernandez and Crampton. And Crampton trying to get up the inside. They're both on even tyres. Fuel levels may vary. As I said, Crampton needs every single win he can get right now if he wants to be in with a chance to get the championship, since he missed the last race 2 weeks ago. At that time, he was actually coming back from Indy after watching the Indy 500 as Crampton pushes out wide in the corner. Just about pushed Hernandez into the fence. These cars do get tight a few laps after the run starts. And if you're not quick about it, then it'll catch you very unawares like that. Plus, there's a really big nasty bump on the inside of turn 1 there that really unsettles the car and helps push you up there even further than you normally would. Side by side, they continue to go. Kyle McCoy just in behind them, stalking them with every corner. Kraus has dropped down to 12th. Watson dropped down to 15th. And Hernandez on the outside line gets the run, takes the lead back. And Crampton's going to have to cool down his tyres here a little bit, reset and try and go for it again. Let's set the camera to focus on crashes once more, see what we can see throughout the field. As it's going to stay on our leaders there briefly. There's the 15 of Ken Campbell. He's in there in 8th position, trying to hold on to it from the charge. Coming from Brian Chambliss in the 67 car. Corey Cook up here as well. He's in P7. He's got a gaggle of cars in front of him as well. Let's see what these guys can do. We're going to go back and have a quick little look at our top 3 here. And McCoy is going to go for the move to the inside of Crampton. We were back to these 3 at the right time as the battle for second is on. Crampton just about getting to the fence there on the exit of 2. Had to put it a little bit sideways to prevent such things from happening. He's still trying to run that outside line though for everything it's worth. Get the momentum up. But that inside line with McCoy just seems to be very strong, especially here in turn 1. He dives it in super deep. They pull back side by side a little bit there in the mid corner. McCoy gets the initial jump on the exit, but then the momentum on the outside is with the 72 car. As a big pinch coming from Crampton that time. They just about touched in the middle of the corner. And that gave all the advantage to Crampton. As McCoy couldn't drive that corner the way that he wanted to. But McCoy so strong here in 1 and 2. He just can't do too much with it. Lap's starting to wind down very quickly. I'm hoping that we're going to go green to the end here, but I'm not going to hold my breath. As the way that things have been going so far, these guys are bound to have at least one more caution at some point. But this time, McCoy to the inside, and he'll have Crampton clear. He's going to slide up, and he's just going to get his bumper ahead of Crampton. Crampton immediately going to swap to the inside line, try and fight back again. And that's the beauty of this style of racing. You can do a slide job, but you're better prepared for the guy to come back again as they touch coming out of turn 2. McCoy just managing to keep it off the fence. Crampton does not look comfortable on the inside line in 1 and 2 as he's consistently sliding up towards the fence. This time he backs out of it, just holds on to the 3rd. And McCoy going to start charging after our leader, Jonathan Hernandez, once more. Let's take a quick look at our crash focus once I hit the button. And it's got us on Brian Chambliss, who is back in the 8th position. And he's trying to chase down Corey Cook and hold off Ken Campbell. We'll see how he does that later on. As Hernandez and McCoy trading very similar times here. 0.2 of a second is the gap. Although McCoy has just brought that down a little bit. In fact, he's brought it down so much, he's going to peak to the inside here coming out of turn 4. He's not going to get there. The momentum too strong. But behind him, Scott Rickard ripping it to the inside of TJ Crampton. And he is going to take over third pretty quickly. The battle is not over yet as Crampton fights back to the inside once more. He can't quite get his car up there. He starts experimenting with alternate dimensions and it's not going to work as McCoy dives to the inside of Hernandez once more. Crampton went very deep into turn 4. But that momentum with Scott Rickard on the outside line there was just way too strong for Crampton to handle. Crampton's going to have to settle for 4th for now. As we're almost 2/3 of the way through this race. In fact, at the end of this lap right now, we'll be 2/3 into this race, with 80 down, 40 to go. The battle is still there with our leaders. I think what we're going to do, in the absence of a move being made here, we're going to go to a very quick 60-second commercial break. When we come back, we'll be going to the end of the race. So make sure you guys stay tuned. More action from the Cyhawk 105 be coming up shortly. Welcome back to the Cyhawk 105 here from the Iowa Speedway. We're riding on board with our third place skater who gets very loose coming out turn 2 there. See 05 of Scott Rickard as he's watching the battle between our leaders, Jonathan Hernandez and Kyle McCoy. And I've been on board with him for a few laps and it's a pretty interesting little battle going on ahead of him. We're going to duck back out from there and join in on them in this way where we just visibly watch them. Shoemaker has made it back out onto the track. He's currently 26 laps down. The battle raging on between McCoy and Hernandez as we're nearing the 3/4 distance in this race. That will be on the completion of lap 90. And will McCoy go for the move this time? It doesn't look like he will. But he's edging ever closer to Jonathan Hernandez, just trying to make something work. Scott Rickard similarly, just trying to make something work. It looks like TJ Crampton burnt off his tyres way too hard. He's fallen back into the clutches of Joe Slama. So he can pretty much kiss his championship goodbye, but he can still be in the fight for the top 4. Oh, sorry, for the top, well, to get 5th. Because there is still 3 races left in the season, so he's still well and truly in the battle for 5th place. And it looks like we're about to enter lap traffic as well. So that's going to be an extra thing for our leaders here with the 5 of Mark Pentacuff just up the road. Pentacuff, who is the last car on the lead lap currently, in 22nd position. But the battle between these three rages on as McCoy almost got a look to the inside of Hernandez coming out of turn 2. Couldn't do anything with it as he's going to try again. They're going to go 3 wide with the lap car. Pentacuff slowed right down there to allow the 2 leaders through. And I think Hernandez is still clear, but now he's not. As here comes the 16 of McCoy, right up the inside, battling as hard as he can. Scott Rickard got a little bit of a wiggle there out of turn 2. And Hernandez maintains the lead with just 29 laps to go now. The laps are going to wind down very quickly. These are probably about 25, 26 second lap times right now. There's not too much wear around the track. It's more tyre heat, and it's a very hot racetrack. Strong winds as well. 29 kilometers an hour coming from turn 1, pointing towards turn 3. But Hernandez continuing to meet the challenge of McCoy. Scott Rickard just back there, watching this battle with intensity, waiting for his moment to strike on both of them. As McCoy pulls side by side with Hernandez once more. Can he turn this into a move for the lead? Are we going to see the move of the race? McCoy, who has endured quite a bit of dominance in the second half of this season. Not having it all his own way here tonight, as he's fallen a little bit further back than he has been previously. That Scott Rickard is now all over his tail. One tiny little mistake and it can go from chocolates to boiled lollies very quickly, especially around a track like this. Especially with lap cars just being 5 seconds up the road. 5.7 seconds between Hernandez and Marquez right now. And McCoy just looks like he's tapped out everything he can try. His tires are probably starting to fade on him a little bit faster than what Hernandez's tires are fading. Someone coming into the pits, and I think that's the 5 of Pentacuff. And it is Pentacuff that's just come into the pits. McCoy tries to get up the inside of Hernandez once more. Hernandez just been running that middle line the entire time. Completely unwavering. The only time he gets off that line is when someone's been challenging him and pushes him up the track. And this has been a really good battle here between our top 3. And even though Scott Rickard hasn't done much, he's just been there and he's been waiting for these two to make a mistake so he can pounce. As we're almost at 20 to go, we've almost completed 100 laps. This time is ticking down. And I'm just sitting here hoping Jonathan Hernandez doesn't give us a half an hour interview, because I don't have the time for that right now. As we start lap number 100, it's still all Jonathan Hernandez from Kyle McCoy, and I'm pretty sure at this point, Hernandez has wrapped up the most laps led. Crampton and Slama have started arguing over that fourth position. Slama trying to get to the inside, but we're going to keep looking at our battle for the lead here with 19 and a half laps to go. And there goes McCoy to the inside. Can he do anything with it, or will Hernandez have too much momentum on the high line? And it is all Hernandez right now. And once more, McCoy sends it to the inside of turn 3. He went very deep under brakes there. And it's still just not going to quite be enough. Hernandez just gets him clear before the start-finish line. The laps are winding down. McCoy's going to have to make this move and make it soon if he wants a chance at the win. He's been dealing with that bump in turn 1 so nicely. He's probably the smoothest that I've seen going over the bump. But now he's pulled side by side with Hernandez in the middle of the corner. Hernandez might be starting to struggle here a little bit. Both these guys, their tyres would be at the absolute limit, but Hernandez, so much momentum coming out of turn 4 that time. Pulled clear of McCoy once more. And they are getting closer and closer to lap traffic. Jonas Marquez is now just 3 seconds up the road, and they will probably catch him before the end of this race. So lap traffic could absolutely become a factor in this. But it looks like McCoy, his tyres just starting to give up the fight a little bit. He got a little bit loose there coming out of turn 2. And instead of going for the low line, he's going to look at the high line now. Try to use the momentum to get around Hernandez. Now his normal thing is to get the slingshot off the outside of 4 and dive it right to the inside of turn 1. That's not the way he's going to do it this time. He's going to sit right on the bumper there, just take a slightly lower line coming out of 2. And then we'll probably see him go high here in 3 and 4 once more before he dives it down low again. And there he goes, just like clockwork, right up to the fence. And he comes down off the fence line. He's got so much momentum over on Jonathan Hernandez, and he dives it down to the inside now. And if he's going to make the move, that's his best chance of making it. Because if he stays on the inside there for too long, he's just not going to have the car speed to do it. He doesn't have the grip. But this is the closest he's gotten to getting the lead back off of Hernandez. With just 13 laps to go. 13 is lucky for some, unlucky for others. Is it going to be lucky for McCoy, or will Hernandez triumph? Dylan Matthews, I think, has come into the pits. He has. Shoemaker is back in the pits as well. I'm surprised to see that Travis Massia hasn't come out to get a position over on Perkins. They continue to go side by side. Both cars starting to get very tight through turn 2. And there's a little bit of a wiggle from McCoy. This is going to be an advantage now for the 05 of Scott Rickard, who's going to look to the outside of McCoy. Now McCoy's going to start getting into it with just about 10 and a half laps to go. And a little bit of a wiggle once more from McCoy coming out of 2. Scott Rickard starting to pour on the pressure. He says, if you're not going to make the move, I'm going to get around you and I'm going to make the move myself. And Rickard now P2 at the line, demoting McCoy to 3rd. Those two good mates both on and off track. With 10 laps to go. Who is going to take it out? It's still a very close race. McCoy still trying to fight back on the inside of Rickard. It's not going to work. The inside line is not where it's at, son. You've got to be in the middle or on top. And on the straightaways, Hernandez is not going to give up that top. and he's got too much momentum going through the middle of the corner for you to really make a difference in the corner going higher than him. Although Scott Rickard is going to give it a try, he's not quite there. Hernandez closes the door. If Rickard's going to make the move, he's going to have to make it to the inside here, and he is going to do so. Dives it down deep. They're starting to catch up to the lap car of Marquez, who is just a second up the road. And it did not work out for Rickard. He's still going to keep trying though, because there was no gap on the outside for him. McCoy running to the outside. He just about gets his nose in there. He's got nowhere to go. He's blocked. Rickard did leave him enough room, but neither of them could get the move going on Hernandez. Hernandez is the Great Wall of China right now, keeping the Mongolians out. Side by side go Rickard and McCoy. They just about make contact coming up in turn 2. And this is a race for the ages right now. This is one of the best races of the season. Just about contact as McCoy slides up in front of Rickard once more. 6 laps to go. And it looks like the 20 of Matthews is out of this race. And these guys are pushing these tyres for everything they're worth now. They all pitted at the last caution, which was at the halfway mark. So they've been on these tyres for 56 laps now. We've got 5 laps to go. So if McCoy or Rickard want this win, they're going to have to start doing it now, as Hernandez made a mistake. He got tight coming out of turn 2. Here goes Kyle McCoy to the outside now. He's not quite there, but he's closer than he ever has been. And it doesn't look like he's going to get the move as Hernandez blocks off the outside line once more. McCoy now looking to the inside, and he's going to try and force Hernandez up, but the lap car of Marquez in front of them is running the low line. So he's giving the draft to Hernandez on the straight and in the corner. Oh, in the corner here in 3 and 4, he's running the middle. That gives all the dirty air to Hernandez, makes him even tighter. Side by side they go at the line, and it's now just 3 laps to go. Side by side through 1 and 2 they go once more. All the dirty air was on the 16 machine of Kyle McCoy, and he's fallen back behind Hernandez once more. He runs to the high line. Marquez now runs the high line. Everyone is running the high line here. Hernandez diamond off the corner, and McCoy got a little bit balked there by Marquez. He has the inside line once more with 2 to go. Just edged his nose in front, but it's not going to count for too much here, as Hernandez once again slips up very high in turn 2. And Rickard just about catching the fence as they come out of turns 3 and 4 for the penultimate time. It is going to be white flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it. And McCoy had a little bit of a wiggle out of turn 4, so Hernandez is going to lead at the white flag. Here comes Scott Rickard to the outside of McCoy. He runs all the way up the top in 1 and 2, and that's not going to work out for him. Let's see what momentum he can have in turn 3, as McCoy, I think, is going to try and set up the over-under here in 3 and 4. McCoy dives to the inside. They're going to be side by side for P2, but coming out of P4, coming out of turn 4, Jonathan Hernandez in the 2 car is going to take home the win from Kyle McCoy and Scott Rickard. What an amazing race there. Oh, wow. Those guys put on an absolute show. But the win goes to the 2 of Hernandez, as we'll wait for the results to come up on the screen. There we go. I think everyone now has finished. There's Hernandez, McCoy, Rickard, Slama, Crampton holding on to a top 5, Ortega, Harmon, Campbell, Cook, and Chambliss as your top 10. And we see Hennessy, Griesbaum, Pizzakemi, Horton, Fallor, Isaacson, Niederhelm, Kraus, Watson, Marquez, who just went 1 lap down. 2 laps down was Pentecoff, then Collins 4 laps down, Matthews, who went out late, Shoemaker, Weekly, Sanchez, Perkins, Massia. You see Hernandez there doing a big old burnout in celebration, and he definitely earned it here tonight. But we're going to go to a commercial break now. When we come back, hopefully we'll have some very quick driver interviews. Alrighty, it is now time for our driver interviews, and as always, we kick things off with our Autism Awareness Hard Charger Award winner. And tonight's hard charger started in 15th and finished in P5. It is the 72 of Mr. TJ Crampton. TJ, a hell of a race out there for you. You looked really strong in the second half of the race when we got that long green flag run, but you just started fading about halfway through that run, mate.
Yeah, that first run, I did some strategy, pitted with Thomas, and I was able to fly through the field and get some track position. And then on that second restart, Jonathan and I just raced a little bit too hard, and I burnt my right front off, so fell back to fifth. But top five, I'll take it any day, especially a track I don't like.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it was a lot of fun, but what was it like pitting with those early cautions and then ultimately pitting at the caution there towards the halfway mark?
Yeah, it was some weird strategy, but I'm glad it worked out, and had some good battles with Ken and Joe and all that. And it's always fun racing with these guys here.
All right, now let's talk about next week. We're going to be going to New Hampshire. What's it feeling like for you as we head to a fairly flat track?
I feel like I do pretty well at flat tracks. New Hampshire is a bit hit or miss. Sometimes I do good, sometimes I don't. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes.
All right, anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go here tonight?
I want to thank you, everyone at Output, Team Watson Racing, Extreme Mufflers, and Redline Oil.
All right, thank you very much for coming out, TJ. Congratulations on coming home with a hard charger. Sorry, I made you hurry up with this, but I
No, it's all
I
good.
gotta get going. All right, guys, that was our Autism Awareness Hard Charger Award winner, the 72 of Mr. TJ Crampton. Coming up next, we are going to have our third place getter, and tonight's third place getter, a part of that epic battle there towards the end, the 05 of Mr. Scott Rickard. Scott, excellent race there at the end. I thought you almost had second place there, but it looked like a hell of a lot of fun out there in the battle for the lead.
Yeah, that was what that I said it to them. That was the most fun I've had on a long run at Iowa in a long time, and it was all because we had a long run. It was loose. It was fun.
It definitely looked like a lot of fun. A lot of just little wiggles here and there that kind of ruined a couple of runs. But the outside to inside was definitely the move, but it just couldn't quite work out for either you or Kyle.
Yeah, it's hard to, even when you're fast. You got to be really fast to be able to pass here on at especially with how top dominant it can be when you're passing. But it's what it is. Still had fun.
All right, let's look forward to next week, the last round of the last race of the first round of the chase, and we're going to be going to New Hampshire. What's the feeling like for you as we head
Uh,
to the flat track there?
I love flat tracks. I love New Hampshire, so I hopefully do well with it.
All right, Scott. Anyone you want to give a quick shout out to before we let you go here tonight?
My dog and everybody puts the league on.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming out, Scott, and look forward to seeing what you can do
Yep.
next week.
Thank you.
All right, guys. That was Scott Rickard, tonight's third place getter, and we're moving through very quickly because I have to GTFO very shortly. But coming up next, our second place getter here tonight is going to be the 16 of Mr. Kyle McCoy. That's the wrong one. That's the right one. Kyle, an absolutely titanic battle there towards the end. I thought for a couple of moments you were going to get it over on Jonathan, and then Scott Rickard entered the picture and lapped traffic, and it just all went a little bit crazy there at the end. But just hard, clean racing that entire second half of the race.
Yeah, that was awesome. Props to Jonathan and Scott for a great battle. That's one of the best battles I've had on iRacing, and I'm so pumped we kept it clean that whole time. That was really, really fun.
Now, there was definitely quite a bit of pit strategy going on out there with the couple of early cautions, and new tyres really seem to make a big difference around here. What was it like fighting through the field those couple of times when a few people didn't pit?
Yeah, tires were tough. You really had to conserve that right rear. It was really easy to get it too hot, and then you basically needed a new set. So it was really important to keep those tires on, and yeah, we got lucky the strategy kind of fell the way it did because I thought for a while we were sitting ducks with those guys with fresh tires behind us, but it all worked out at the end, and that's all you can ask for.
All right, now let's very quickly move on to next week. We're going to be going to New Hampshire. What's the feeling like for you as we head to the flat
Yeah,
track there?
Yeah, New Hampshire's my least favorite track on iRacing, so we are gonna give it a go and see see if we can find some speed there, and see if we can compete the way we did this week. Hopefully, it all works out the way it did this week. That was awesome.
All right, now before we let you go here tonight, man, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to you for putting on the broadcast, and again, shout out to Jonathan and Scott. That was an awesome battle, and I haven't had a battle like that very many times on iRacing, so it's really cool to have that and not put a single X on the board. That was really cool.
Awesome. Well, it's great having you out there, man. Congratulations on coming home P2. Great points going into the championship race in just a few weeks. And we look forward to seeing what you can do next week at New Hampshire.
Appreciate it, Corey. Thanks for putting this on.
All right, guys. That was our second place getter here tonight, Mr. Kyle McCoy. And coming up next, we're going to have a very, very well-deserved winner. It is, of course, going to be the two of Jonathan Hernandez. And I have already pre-warned him that he can't do a 40-minute interview here tonight because I got a GTFO. But Jonathan, amazing race there at the end. You just held strong in that middle line, and neither Scott nor Kyle could do anything to get around you.
Yeah, first off, great race, with them, and it was a lot of fun. I am wore out. I was telling them that I was gripping the wheel so hard, just trying to hold on to it. But yeah, it was a good race, fun race. The car felt great, at least for me, toward my liking, and it was we walked away with the win at an important time too. Couldn't write it any better.
Yeah, you definitely had to get the points over on Scott, who was leading coming into this week. So how does this set you up for the next two races? Of course, the next one being the final race of the first round here, and then ultimately the championship 4 race. That's going to be coming up in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's you know, mm, I wish you could say it takes some of the pressure off, but it doesn't. We still got the final 2 races, and we're just gonna try to keep the momentum. We got a second at Gateway to open the playoffs now with the win, and we just gotta ride the momentum. Really, just keep running and finishing well, and then just be there at the end. And you know, I don't know what next week's gonna hold, other than just hoping and seeing. But we're gonna try to go there. Of course, mentality, go for the win, but realistically, at least top 5 clean race at the most.
All right, now let's look forward to next week. New Hampshire. What's the feeling like for you as we head to New Hampshire for the final race of the first round of the playoffs?
I'm interested to see how it'll race with this car. I don't think it's been a while since we took this car there, so I'm interested to see how it'll go. I wonder if we'll have to rely more on the shifting again, just because the corners are slower. But um, I like New Hampshire. I don't have a love hate relationship with it. It's just flip of the coin every time I go there. So hopefully, Lady Luck is on our side next week, and we get that good finish.
All right, now I know you got 150,000 people to thank, so let's see if we can do a speed run on it for the first time in your life. Who you got to thank here tonight, man?
Yeah, okay. So first off, of course, I got to thank everybody over here in Output, you for the broadcast and for helping set all this up. Of course, Travis, Jaron, Brian, and of course, the whole drivers council team. And um, so thank all y'all first, and of course, gotta give a shout out to the girlfriend as always. You always gotta give a shout out to that special someone, and of course, all my family and everybody watching and that supports me and everything, and everybody over there at Triad Racing Enterprises and all our sponsors. It's just StanAnalyzer.com, Susan Media. We had a Coke on the car this week, which luckily was a good luck charm because we switched it right before the session launched. So, yeah, thank you for everybody, and hopefully we're back here again for a 3rd race in a row.
Well, let's hope so, and hopefully you can ride that momentum right through into the championship race. But thank you very much for coming out, Jonathan. Congratulations on a big victory here, right when it counts, and we look forward to seeing what we can do next week at New Hampshire.
Thank you, Corey.
All right, guys, that was tonight's winner, the 2 of Jonathan Hernandez. That is going to wrap things up for us here tonight. Unfortunately, I can't sit here and do a long monologue about it, but it's going to be a very big race next week. So hopefully we see you all there. But until then, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator, We'll see you guys in New Hampshire.